The Committee on Legislative Administration, to which was referred HCR1, an act rescinding all requests by the New Hampshire Legislature for a federal Constitution Convention. Having considered the same, report the same with the following resolution. Resolved that it is inexpedient to legislate. Representative Russell T. Ober for the committee. The chair recognizes the representative from Hudson, Representative Russ Ober, to speak in favor of the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I vote in favor of this HCR. No, I can't speak up. I'm half hoarse from being here so long. Remember what an HCR is. It's a message from us to the feds, either with a complaint or somehow, I don't think that would happen, that we say you're doing a nice job. This HCR is full of whereases, if that's a word, whereases, plural, I don't know. And then there's only 2 items at the bottom that say, this is what we'd like from you, federal government. And the first item is, federal government, we'd like to apologize for actually believing that you might have made a mistake and that we would like to bring some information to your meeting, that we'd like to change some things because you're screwing up so badly. But we're going to apologize for that. We withdraw that. We don't want to say you made a mistake. And the second part is even stranger. This tells the federal government that we would like all the other states who have made requests for Article 5 conventions to withdraw all of their requests for Article 5 conventions. Don't you think this is a little much for the state of New Hampshire to say to every other state, oh, listen, we're withdrawing our request, so you should withdraw your request? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The chair recognizes the member from Swansea, Representative McConnell, to speak against the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As I've indicated before with respect to the constitutional conventions, I find them a real jump ball. The result of most of these, if not all of the result of all of these will be that the Supreme Court will consider them at the first opportunity, and it seems to me that they will make a judgment which will make half of this room, or maybe less, very, very happy, and the rest of us very, very unhappy. To my way of thinking, these things are a complete wild card. I'm joined in that by a number of Chief Justices and former Chief Justices, and it seems to me it's a very bad idea. The Supreme Court, prior to 1962, stayed out of state business, and they are not at all reluctant to get into it now. Since that time, they've done nothing but get into state business. Every chance they've had, every opportunity they've had, nothing is going to change that. And the long and the short of it is that this is a very, very risky proposition, sending delegates down to conventions. To my way of thinking, we shouldn't be supporting any of them. So I am very much in support of HCR1, and I hope that you will vote against the ITL. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the member from Manchester, Representative Timothy Smith, to speak in favor of the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I'm sorry, would the member please suspend? Apologize, there was a lot going on. Representative McConnell, would you yield to a question?
Yes. Yes.
Representative Notter, you may inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I didn't hear all of the speech, the first speech or the second speech. So, would you believe that there is a mistake in the blurb? It says that research into prior legislation suggests the last call by New Hampshire was made in 1979. That is incorrect. It was last term, and I have a follow-up to that. Yeah, answer it.
Yes, I'd certainly believe that.
Follow-up, you may inquire.
And HCR1 this term is identical to this, the same resolution that we passed in 2010. So all calls are rescinded, but we do have one end.
I believe that as well.
Thank you. Representative Smith, you may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise very briefly today to discuss HCR1. This bill contains a significant error in the text which dramatically changes the effect of the bill compared to the author's intentions. The bill resolves, I'm quoting, that any and all requests by the New Hampshire legislature for a federal constitutional convention are hereby rescinded and deemed null and void. We all know that the bill is trying to repeal applications for a convention to propose amendments under Article 5, but that's not what the bill says. The bill says federal constitutional convention, which is not the same thing, and that phrase appears nowhere in Article 5 of the Constitution. Accurate language matters with this stuff. Even if you don't like the idea of an Article 5 convention, this bill is not going to do what you want it to do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The chair has the previous question. Let me explain the parliamentary situation. We have many debates. People sign up in advance. And at that point, the chair has taken the previous question. I have standing motion for previous question, which is to end debate and to proceed to a vote. So once people have begun to speak, then I'm not allowing other people to continue. But there is a request by Representative Baldessaro to enter into this debate. But I have the previous question, so I'm putting the question to the House, and the question is, shall debate end? If you wish for the debate on this this article to continue, you will vote no. If you are in favor of ending debate, you will vote yes. You may inquire.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Is the net effect of this vote to prevent the representative from Londonderry from speaking?
The effect of the vote is that to end debate, we have people signed up. There is an order to the debate to allow the committee to go last. Once the debate has begun, I'm not taking any more people signing up into the middle of the debate. Every member of this chamber has the opportunity to sign up on any bill anytime he or she wishes. But once the debate has started, I have the motion to end debate. And so I have the right, under the rules, myself, as you well know, just to say that I have taken the question, debate is limited. I am allowing the House to decide whether it wishes to continue debate on this item or not.
Further inquiry, Mr. Speaker.
You may inquire.
So are we to understand in this House that from now on, when debate begins, no other speakers other than those who have identified themselves to the clerk will be allowed to speak, even though a member here may hear something that would be of benefit to all members in considering a bill, but only hears it being said on the House floor?
The member always has the opportunity to ask questions of a member who will yield. They have the opportunity to ask if a member of the committee will yield if they have a question to make their point. In this case, the member has now signed up for the parliamentary inquiry because no one had signed up on his side of the debate, so that member will be doing the parliamentary inquiry but also wishes to debate the bill.
Further question?
You may inquire.
Further clarifying question. So we understand that speakers may yield to questions, committee may yield to questions, but conversely, they may not yield. And therefore, again, we are in the situation, if I understand it correctly, where a member can sit on this floor, having not signed up, believing that all issues would be adequately covered, hear something that the member knows is entirely inaccurate, and will not be able to bring that to the attention of the House if speakers in the committee don't want to yield.
You are only correct to the degree that the decision will be made by the House. It is not an absolute. I have the motion by a member, which is proper for any member to make. The House needs to understand that before anyone speaks, someone could rise, come to the well, and move the question. And if the House chose, the House could end debate, move to the vote without hearing anything. That is entirely within the body's right, as you well know.
May be heard on a motion. I would ask the advice of the chair. I would like to allow Representative Baldessaro to speak. Would that be a motion to amend?
No.
Or
Representative O'Brien, that is the question before the body. That is the very question that is before the body. Shall debate continue, whereby Representative Baldessaro would be allowed to debate, or has the House heard enough debate, and are the members ready to vote on the question? So what you are proposing is, in fact, exactly what is before the body.
Thank you for the clarification. Division.
Division vote has been requested. This will be a division vote. A roll call has been. Representative Kapler requests a roll call. Is that sufficiently seconded? It is sufficiently seconded. This will be a roll call. You have a parliamentary inquiry?
Parliament, PI, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, is there some type of, that I missed, a vote that was to limit debate to only 2 speakers? Is there something that's going on? Or is this just, because many of us thought we were signed up for this, that's why there's confusion.
Representative Baldessaro, I have answered that, and in fact there were 3 speakers on this debate, not 2. Is this a real parliamentary inquiry?
I hope so. Is it not true that we operate under Mason's rules? Is it not true that we operate under Mason's rules?
We operate under a variety of rules. House rules come first. There is a precedent of rules. I think you know that.
Follow up? Is it not true that practice and precedent trump that?
That is actually true. Here are 2 pages of the practice and precedents which the chair is relying on, going back to Speaker Scammon.
Follow up?
You may inquire.
Is it not true that in the past, as it's happened to me and many others, that during the course of the debate, people have come up and said, I would like to sign up to speak, and we're allowed to speak during the middle of the debate?
I have no idea.
It's happened to me a number of times.
Well, regardless,
follow up.
We are in the voting mode. I have precedent here, which includes Speakers O'Brien, Norelli, and Scammon.
Would practice and precedent not allow a speaker to come up and sign up or be signed up at any point in the debate?
When the chair has not taken the motion for previous question, that would be correct. The chair has the question in hand.
Follow up.
May inquire.
So if I want to insulate myself from being frozen out of the debate, from now on I will come up and sign up to speak on every single bill and then decline as needed?
You would certainly be within your rights to do that.
Thank you.
Representative Christensen, you may inquire. All right.
I have a question. What are we going to say to all the people who testified on these bills?
All right, Representative
to the
Christensen, you will suspend. That is not a parliamentary inquiry. We are in the voting mode. I was answering parliamentary questions. The question before the House: shall debate now be limited? If you are in favor of limiting debate and moving to the vote, you will press the green button. If you wish for debate to continue, you will press the red button. Voting stations are now open. We're in the voting mode. You had not notified the chair. We are in the voting mode. You will be seated. If all members voted who were present when the question was put, the House will attend to the state of the vote. There having been 169 votes in the affirmative, 166 in the negative, debate is now limited. For what purpose does the member rise?
For motion.
State your motion.
Having voted on the prevailing side, I hereby move for reconsideration.
Motion is on reconsideration.
Division.
Division vote has been requested. This will be a division vote. Members are already in their seats. For what purpose does the member rise?
The parliamentary inquiry.
You may inquire.
If I realize that we joined a body that we consider a great deliberative body, a body that is not to have its debate rammed through to result. If I realize that, Mr. Speaker, and if I realize that when members ask for parliamentary inquiry, it has been the tradition of this body, and Mr. Speaker, it has been the tradition of every speaker to provide that courtesy. And if I realize that ending debate has always been considered a very serious move in this deliberative body, and if I realize that I don't come here to get out of here, but I come here to do right by the people of New Hampshire as a result of considered debate, Mr. Speaker, would I vote yes on reconsideration so that we may have a properly prepared and properly presented motion to end debate, and not one that has been artificially pushed through by the chair, and vote green.
The question is on the motion to reconsider. This is a division vote. If you're in favor, you'll press the green button. If you're opposed, you'll press the red button. Representative Packard, would you take the chair for a moment, please?
The chair recognizes Representative Jasper for a parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I know that limiting debate on days such as this is a long tradition of the House, and then, Mr. Speaker, if I know that the previous speaker or questioner limited debate for 3 days in a row during his tenure during this time of year, would I recognize the tradition of the House and that it is within the power and it is proper for the House to limit debate and vote no on the pending question? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The House will be in order. The motion before us is reconsideration. If you're in favor, this is a division vote. you will press the green button. If you're opposed, you will press the red button. Voting stations are open for 30 seconds. If all members voted that were here when the question was put, the House will attend to the state of the vote. "92 voting yea, 245 voting nay. The motion fails. The question is on the committee report of inexpedient to legislate. Question to the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just a question to the chair. It's my understanding on the last vote that we have members, Democrats and Republicans, working downstairs on Division 2 who weren't notified that we are in a voting mode. Is that to be the practice for the rest of this session?
I will turn this over.
Maybe I could rephrase my question, Mr. Speaker.
I will turn this over to the Speaker.
Will our friends working downstairs in Division 2 be notified of future roll call votes?
The chair has directed that every time there is a roll call vote, that the members be given ample time to come up here. My understanding is that there are certain votes that the members have declined to come up here for. But if there is a problem, the chair certainly wants to be aware of that, because every member who wishes to come up for a roll call vote should be given that opportunity, and we are attempting to do that. And that has been my directive, and I have informed the Sergeant-at-Arms to make sure that the members downstairs, if they wish to come up, have ample time to get up here. If there is a problem, then those members need to let me know, because that is not acceptable.
I thank the Speaker for his courtesy to our fellow members. I'd be more than happy to pass that along to the Speaker if that happens again.
Well, and those members should let me know after the vote that there wasn't enough time as well. So
if they don't know there's a vote,
we
I can't tell you.
We are doing our best. I think it's being electronically communicated, and we're doing everything we can. Finance Committee is up against a deadline, and while we would rather not have them working today, they need to do that, so we understand it's difficult. That's why, in fact, I asked the Senate President if he would allow us to use 2 of their rooms today. He graciously allowed us to use 2 of the rooms. We turned our break room into a committee room, so we're trying to make that happen, and it's not a perfect system, and I apologize for the inconvenience to any member of the House.
I thank the Speaker.
The question is on the adoption of the committee report on HCR1. Did we proceed to roll call? Has been requested. Is that sufficiently seconded? It is sufficiently seconded. This will be a roll call vote. Members will take their seats. That was, did you get who that was requested by? I'm sorry. Who requested the roll call? I apologize. Representative Hull requested the roll call. House will come to order. Chair recognizes Representative Baldessaro for parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I know that it was important for me to speak on HCR1 since I was the chairman of the committee...
The member will suspend. You are recognized for a parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Chairman, you keep cutting me off. I'm getting into
about the bill. You are not going to go there.
Once again, I was the chairman of the committee on this bill when it
The
came...
member will suspend. You are recognized for a parliamentary inquiry. You will talk about the bill. You will not talk about your history.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. If you know as I know, I sat in a room when a bill came through in this situation concerning a balanced budget. If you know like I do, I was the chairman and passed that resolution. And Mr. Speaker, if you knew, which I know you do because you were there on resolutions, that we made a mistake passing that balanced budget resolution, the House. And Mr. Speaker, if I know that when the laws of the country on a balanced budget are not being complied with, then Mr. Speaker, I know that we shouldn't be passing a Constitution amendment since they can't comply with the laws of the land. So if you would now press the red button.
The member will suspend. The question is not about what I or anyone else should do. The question is about what you should do. If I know all these things, would I then press the red button?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm glad you keep me squared away. Thank you. But anyways, press the red button. Thank you.
The question is on the adoption of the committee report. If you are in favor, you'll press the green button. If you're opposed, you'll press the red button. Chair recognizes Representative Hinch for parliamentary inquiry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I know and appreciate the concerns of the sponsors of this bill, but if I know that the last known call by New Hampshire for a constitutional convention was in 1979, and if I know that the call has not resulted in a convention in over 3 decades, and it's likely that rescinding is not necessary, nor would it preclude other states from calling for a new convention, would I now press the green button to support the work of the majority of the Legislative Administration Committee? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is on the adoption of the committee report on HCR1. This is a roll call vote. If you are in favor, you'll press the green button. If you're opposed, you'll press the red button. Voting stations are open for 30 seconds. If all members voted who were present when the question was put, the House will attend to the state of the vote. There having been 262 votes in the affirmative, 75 in the negative, the committee report is adopted.